In this video, I am going to share about the book Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Mastering the Inner Game of Wealth. The reason why I am recommending this book to you 13 years after reading it is because it is a book that is rather important to me personally, and I also want to recommend it to you. The book is not about teaching you the methods of making money and getting rich. For example, it is not about what kind of stocks to buy, or how to invest in real estate and so on. What the author wants the reader to understand is a concept that is more important than ways and methods to make money, and that is that most of the decisions we make and actions we take in life are derived from our thoughts and beliefs, including most of the decisions and actions we take to create wealth for ourselves. You will discover how our childhood experiences, which have molded our subconscious mind, have influenced our view of money throughout our lives, and how these experiences have formed habits of thought that have discouraged or limited ourselves. Ever since I read this book, I have come to understand the truth, and have practiced and applied some of the mindsets mentioned in the book to my own personal finances, and have made great improvements. I think these ideas and beliefs are not only applicable to our financial aspects, but also helpful in all aspects of life and in my career. If this video proved to be useful to you, please share the video or subscribe to our channel, give a like and click on the bell icon. The author of this book is Harv Eker. Before he became a famous master trainer, Eker was just like any other person, or even worse. He grew up in a poor family and started working at the age of 13 as a newspaper delivery boy, selling ice cream, setting up stalls, and selling sunscreen on the beach. After a year studying at York University, he decided that he wanted to pursue his passion on a full-time basis. He then started his own business many times without any success. But he was not discouraged by these setbacks. Later, he founded a company that sold sports equipment. This company grew rapidly within 2 years and even expanded to 10 branches. Later on, he sold the company to one of the top 500 local enterprises in the United States and earned the first pot of gold in his life. However, due to bad investments and reckless spending, in less than 2 years, he spent all his money and went back to square one. He learned from his mistakes, went back to evaluate his own upbringing and monetary management, and began to analyze various intrinsic thoughts related to getting rich. He discovered that everyone has their own financial roadmap. If one does not have the right financial roadmap, then even if one makes a lot of money, the money will not stick with him for long. So, he started to radically modify his financial roadmap. Eventually, he became super rich and has been getting richer and richer ever since. After his success, he dedicated himself to helping more people achieve their dreams of becoming wealthy and founded his potential development company, which became popular all over the world. Every class is always jam-packed with people. And this is his very first book, which has topped the best-selling American charts since its publication. And I'll summarize some of the most important highlights of the book in the next section. If you want to know what it takes to change the way you think, to unleash our inner potential, and to change your fortunes, remember to watch the whole video. What is the financial roadmap? Why is the financial roadmap so important? A very important concept mentioned at the beginning of the book is the financial roadmap that we all have inside us. Author Eker believes that getting rich is actually some kind of mental game. You should have heard that a person's character, thoughts, and beliefs determine how high his level of achievements will be. So our mindset about wealth determines the decisions we make about our finances that produce the results that are equal to our mindset, which means it determines whether we can create and manage our own wealth. Your income can only increase to the level you are willing to contribute. What is a financial roadmap? Much like an architectural blueprint, a plan or design made before a house is built, our financial roadmap is the planning or attitude we have towards our finances. Our financial roadmap is what we think, feel, and do about money. So, how is our financial roadmap formed? It is primarily shaped by the information we receive, especially the information we receive when we are still kids, which has a significant impact on us. This information came from our parents, siblings, friends, teachers, the media, and our developmental background. This information sets us up and creates ideas, our ideas create feelings, and feelings create actions, and then actions will produce results. While growing up, you may have probably overheard conversations that relate to money, wealth, and rich people. For example, money is the root of all evil, save for a rainy day, rich people are greedy, money is dirty, you have to work hard to earn it, money doesn't buy happiness, there is never enough money, just enough money is good enough, and one of the most infamous phrases of all, we can't afford it. These words create a subconscious restraint on wealth in our minds and determine our thoughts, which in turn determine our choices, which determine the actions we take with our money, which produce the outcomes. So how can we change our current financial roadmap, especially those that discourage and limit the advancement of wealth? The authors suggest that in order to change our current financial roadmap, we must be aware of these subconscious thoughts about money and understand how these beliefs influence our financial practices and decisions. Again, we have to believe that these negative perceptions are not necessarily true. We must choose a new way of thinking and let it help us to be more happy and become successful. In his book, Iker mentions an important formula that has been used by many master instructors as the basis for their teaching, namely the process of manifestation. Your thoughts create feelings, your feelings create actions, your actions produce results. Remember, the first element of all transformation is perception. Observe your thoughts, your fears, your beliefs, your habits, and then your actions, or your inactions. Put yourself under a microscope and research on it. Most people believe that we live our lives based on our choices. The truth is, it's not entirely true. Even if we are literally bursting with wisdom, we may make choices that reflect our perception of ourselves in the moment. But in general, we are all like robots, controlled by the very conditions and habits of our past, working automatically and mechanically. So, we must remain conscious and observe our thoughts and actions from time to time, so that we can make the choices we truly want to make, rather than being manipulated by our past setting. Then we can consciously let go of any beliefs or approaches to life that do not help increase our wealth and make the right choices and switch to something that works. The authors believe that each of us can choose to think and act like the rich in order to create the results that the rich has achieved. The way rich people think and act in all aspects of life is very different from the poor and the middle class. Iker also emphasized that he had absolutely no intention of belittling the poor, nor was he unsympathetic to their situation. He does not think that all rich people are better off than poor people, they are just richer. So how do rich people think and act? We have summarized 10 points in the next video that we hope will help you switch to a new mindset. Be sure to watch the video below and master the 10 different mindsets mentioned here to build wealth and change your life. We all know that people are creatures of habit. Iker believes, as most people don't necessarily understand, that there are two kinds of habits, the habit of doing and the habit of not doing. Everything you're not doing right now is something you're used to not doing. The only way to change the habit of not doing is by taking action. If you really want to succeed, then prove your commitment by taking action and putting the following suggestions into action in order to achieve it. Master the mindset of the wealth, you will be able to build wealth and change your life. Rich people mindset number 1. Rich people believe that, I create my own life. The poor, however, believe that, life happens to me. If you want to create wealth, you must believe that you are in control of your life, especially when it comes to money. Rich people believe that they have control when it comes to money. You must believe that only you can create your own success. Whether it comes out of conscious or subconscious, the state of your life is of your own doing. However, instead of taking responsibility for everything in their lives, poor people choose to play the role of victim and often blame everything and not reflect on themselves at all. The victim blames the recession, the government, the stock market, the company, the spouse, God, etc. Everything is always someone else's fault, and gives everything a reasonable justification, and keeps on whining all the times. I'm sure you've heard of the law of attraction and birds of a feather flock together. When you complain, you're actually attracting more bad things into your life. Have you ever noticed that people who complain usually have a hard time? Things go wrong all the time around them, and it's a bad cycle, and if you complain again and again, more things go wrong. Remember, when you're blaming others, looking for excuses or opening your mouth just to complain, you're cutting off your chances of getting rich. Life is like a mirror, and your thinking and attitude will always be reflected and happen to you. Author Iker suggests that every day before you go to bed, Write down one thing that went well and one thing that didn't on that particular day. Then ask yourself, how did I create these two scenarios? And what role did I play in both scenarios? This exercise will allow you to take responsibility for your life and allow you to discover which strategies are working for you and which ones are not. Let me do a quick recap. Getting rich is actually some kind of mental game. Our financial roadmap is what we think, feel, and do about money. Rich people believe that I create my own life. The poor, however, believe that life happens to me. The first element of all transformation is perception. We must remain conscious and observe our thoughts and actions from time to time, so that we can make the choices we truly want to make. Well, that's the end of this video episode. If you're interested in learning about the other 9 ways how rich people think that will allow you to change your financial pathway, you can click on the link in the upper right corner and keep watching. That's it for today's sharing. If you find this video helpful, please do share it around, maybe you can help out someone in need. You can also leave your thoughts and comment below. If you would like to watch a related content next time, please subscribe to our channel, give us a like and click on the bell icon.